This painting was actually the first image that I found that felt like the story to me. It has that chill of a hard winter, the ice blue, the slate gray, but there's also warmth in her face and a flush in the cheeks. Color is very evocative for me, so I made a very strict color palette and shared it with all our department heads. So the colors of the walls that Alex DiGirlando and his team made had these blues in it, and the set decoration and the costumes and the makeup and the hair, everything is falling into these tones so that when we're in Iceland for that portion of the story, you always feel exactly where you are. A lot of the color palette was actually inspired by our very first scout in Iceland. The first scout was so important because we were still writing at the time. In the early days of the script, Darby had this like wasabi colored hair, but when I saw that blush in the sky on that very first scout, I turned to Zal and I said, I think Darby should have hair the color of the setting sun in Iceland. So many of the things that we saw and felt in Iceland entered the script. Like the cold there. The cold is very cutting. When we would go on scouts where we'd trek across glaciers, or we would go inside ice caves, or we would hike all the way to the top of a mountain all together to try to find the best location for this hotel, for Andy to take the guests on different journeys. I remember one time everyone was asleep in the scout van because it was so early, and we hit a bump and I woke up and the light was coming up and it was like diffused through the clouds, and I immediately came to the front of the van and started shooting it on my iPhone. I showed it to Aaron Raff, our incredible VFX producer, and I was like, this is how we have to introduce the hotel. Darby is looking out the windshield and there are these incredible wisps of snow just blowing across the road, and we push through that mist and up and over a hill. So from the very first time you see the hotel, you see it as this dazzling feat of beauty, but you also see it as a very precarious place.